Hey everyone, welcome back to Jordan Samuel Skin Talks. I have a very, very, very special guest here today. My first time talking with them, but I'm very excited to introduce them to all of you, and I will let her introduce herself.
Hi, I'm so glad to be here. My name is Katey Denno. I am, and I always have to say this part because it's the most interesting, I'm sure, a celebrity makeup artist. And I focus on the world of clean, green, non-toxic, whatever you want to call it, beauty. The world of, beauty products that don't have to harm our bodies or the planet. So that's kind of been my thing for the past decade, and it's so awesome to see such a huge shift in the industry and to be able to have amazing creators like yourself that I can draw on and have as a collaborator, so I can make people's faces all the more glowy and beautiful.
Thank you, and thank you for being here. I'm so excited. And it is, like you said, it is the most interesting and most exciting because I think there is something to. I think sometimes people are like, oh, celebrity makeup artist, celebrity facialist, it's the whole thing. But at the same time, there is something to be said. These people who their face is their business card, is their calling card, it is what is out there
Totally.
24/7. It is very important and it says a lot to have that as part of the, title. So it's interesting, but it's also very important, I think. Um, but with that being said, I'm excited because I've talked about hair with my friend Lorraine Massey.
Hmm.
I've obviously talked about skincare and on my channel, but I've rarely touched on makeup. And a lot of people do come to me with questions about makeup, and I just am not. I was a ballet dancer, so I've done stage makeup on myself. I had to do a touch of it in aesthetic school. I was not good at it. And so I'm excited to have you here and talk about everything makeup, makeup trends, makeup application, any tips and tricks. Doesn't have to be crazy. And then, like, skincare you like using before you do somebody's makeup. So
Yeah, you are skincare creators are the first line of being able to make our work look good. If my clients are not taking care of their skin, they're not seeing an esthetician, or they're not using the right skincare, whatever makeup I put on them in real life, they're gonna look scary.
right.
May be able to use, filters and Facetune and whatever else to get the final look okay, but whew, in person, it's just not cute. So, I'm super grateful that that different kinds of oils exist because we know that they help, quell acne, help soothe rosacea, help thoroughly, deeply hydrate dry skin. So all of those things are like my first step. It's like the lingerie of the makeup world.
I love it.
Yeah, so that's you, a lingerie maker.
So you like using an oil on the skin before makeup application? I mean,
I
I
do.
assumed as much, but
Yeah, let me walk you through. So, no matter who I'm working with, I'll give you the generic rundown. So, whether they're young and acneic, full of rosacea, have melasma, or are, dry, dehydrated, flaky, whatever, aging skin, I'm going to start that with a full dose of whatever hydrating mist. I watched some of your videos today, and I saw you with my dear May Lindstrom. And so
yes.
probably those two to get the products combined. Sorry, don't mean to digress, but wow, love that.
Yes.
Anyways,
Thank you.
you know, so some sort of mist, whatever scent I'm in the mood for that day, and then depending upon their skin type, a number of drops of face oil. So when I first started doing makeup over 10 or 11 years ago, I would use this cream that was very popular among all makeup artists called Embryolisse. And it's a really thick, rich French cream. And I would use that. It's not a green beauty product by any means. And it would, make skin beautiful, but within 20 minutes in front of the camera, no matter what foundation or powder I've put on, it's a grease slick. And so I thought, oh my gosh, all moisturizers are going to do this. And so for sure, when I started looking at oils, I thought this is definitely going to be even more greasy. And boy, oh boy, was I wrong. So that whole idea of putting oil on your skin not being good for people who are greasy, that's not true. It's great. The right oil will help you regulate your sebum production. So, all of these things I've learned from my esthetician friends over the years and just from trial and error. And so, anyway, so using a nice a hefty dose of mist or just water on the face. And then the face oil I found will help I've learned from you all, will help the oils penetrate more deeply. So, preventing wrinkles before they start, but also making sure that the any like dryness, flakiness that might have happened, I'm going to make sure I get that off. I get that deep in, and the cells will be nice and plump, so that anything that I put on is not going to settle into fine lines, not going to look, crepey and heavy and crevicey as the minutes, hours, go on throughout the day. So that's my first step. A
Love
number
it.
of drops of face oil, and I will alternate. I'll either, if my client needs a little soothing moment, I'll give them a nice face oil massage, or as I've learned from my esthetician friends, it's more about just the pressing
Press.
of it,
Yeah.
right? So I will do that, and sometimes those 3 drops are not enough, especially if I'm, when you're doing your makeup, you want to make sure neck, and if your chest is showing at
Yes.
all,
Yeah.
you match. So bringing that down onto the neck, and really, really getting every bit of skin that's showing, hands included. I always make sure after I put on makeup, I take their hands and make them go like this, and I smooth the backs of their hands with whatever's left over.
Love it.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than hands that don't match the face.
Ain't that the truth? Yeah. I mean, dead giveaway.
Yeah, this is it all the time. So yeah, so that I think has been, that's always my beginning few stages before and generally I'm not into a full face of foundation. You can see my work. It's very different from what has been trending the past, I don't know, 5 or so years, I would say, which is very heavy. You can see on the Instagram tutorials, like girls using cake sticks. That was an awesome trend that Kevin Aquan made extremely popular when he was doing fashion shows, and Kate Moss was walking the runway. I've heard great stories of him holding a head down and just painting stripes on, highlight stripes, darker stripes for contour, neck contour, which is awesome for
Right.
awesome for dancing on a stage.
Right.
But if I'm having brunch with you, I'm like terrified because you look like you're wearing a freaking mask.
Yes, exactly.
So I'm all about keeping it nice and sheer, and I will often take face oil and mix it with foundation or concealer or even a powder, and have a little bit of coverage, create my own tinted moisturizer, and just, apply it where it's needed. You don't need a full face. Certainly don't ever start around the edges. I see all the time, just watched a video from a makeup line that was saying, once again, perpetuating that, try 3 or 4 lines of
Oh,
foundation. Well, actually, I just read an article this week for Mind Body Green about how your face may have 5 different tones.
absolutely.
Those tones may be a different shade. A lot of women have like a darkness, a gray shadow around their mouth, not to mention men who've got 5 o'clock shadow, so concealing that. Yeah. I mean, different colors around the eyes often have a lot more purple in them. If you've got any redness or rosacea or melasma, it's like every part of your face is different. And so
It's beyond true. Yeah.
applying one tone, one shade it's like guaranteed to give you a mask face. So I like to go super sheer, keep things easy, get a nice even look, and then go in with a fine point brush. I feel like everyone thinks this takes forever, but it's actually so much easier. You get an even base, whether it's the tinted moisturizer or you've mixed your powder with your face oil, and then you go back in with a little brush, and whatever spots, you conceal those. It takes 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
right, and then if you needed a little touch of powder somewhere, go for it. I hardly ever use powder anyway. But so yeah, that's basically, no matter who I'm working on, that's my go-to.
So what I love about this is actually how you just explained that with makeup is exactly how I talk to people a lot about skincare, which is a lot of people do want to take, for instance, a moisturizer, facial oil, facial, whatever it is, and do it everywhere. But the whole thing is the skin has all these different little micro ecosystems. You might not need oil or a certain type of oil everywhere. You might not need X, Y, and Z cream everywhere, whatever it is. And so that's brilliant how you just explained that about makeup. It's exactly how I talk about skincare. Yes, it's fun to put something everywhere, but that might not be the best strategy for us.
I love that you say that too, because I find that to be the case for myself and 75% of my clients, but I've never heard an esthetician or skincare creator say that. So I love that. It's
Yes,
like numbers.
exactly. Exactly. And same thing with masks. Like, I'm not going to do a clay mask on my really dry cheeks.
Right.
I'll do it through my T-zone, but
Yeah.
then I'll do like a hydrating mask here. Same thing with like what you're and most people are a version of a combination skin type. Yes, you have your oily acne prone. Yes, you have your dry dehydrated. But most people, they're really, I see very few people with normal skin. I see people with combination skin, whether it's more dry than oily or more oily than dry, but it's
Mhm.
combo. So that makes perfect sense to me, and I love it. And also the thing about oils too being that finding the right oil for your skin type is crucial. Just like finding the right products for your skin type is crucial, but finding the right oil. And that has, I keep saying that because so many people are still afraid of oil. And probably mainly because they've used simply just the wrong one. And it can be a
Exactly.
beautiful, brilliant, wild harvested certified organic oil, but it can just be the wrong one for you. Like,
Totally.
that's
Like, oh,
it.
organic oil. I'm never doing it again. It broke me out. I'm like, do you know how many different oils there are? And then within those carrier oils, how many different essential oils people put in that may have been
Oh, of course. Of
Mhm.
course, exactly. No, so it's so that was lovely. And I love that too. I also, like you said, great for stage makeup, great for like a fashion show, but when you're sitting having brunch with somebody, and that's what I think people are interested in. It's all the world is a stage, like I say on the back of one of my bottles, but it's true, but it doesn't need to be stage makeup stage. It can just be it can be your personal stage, and it doesn't have to be that. Um, so I love that. I love the setup of a mist and then an oil. And it's so true. The nice thing about oils as compared to creams is you don't have the emulsifiers, you don't have all these other things, which can be totally fine and important ingredients, but
Right.
with makeup application, it just is this nice veil, really. Like you said, lingerie. It truly is, I feel like. Brilliant. I love this. I feel like I love doing these things because I always learn.
Me too.
And I'm
Absolutely.
learning before I post it for my, YouTube subscribers. So I love being like, oh, I have all these tricks
Yes.
now.
We share our knowledge.
Yes, exactly. Uh, okay, so then in terms of end of day makeup removal, are you a fan? Well, what is how would you suggest people remove their makeup at the end of the day?
Well, again, I always discuss with my clients about their skin type. I mean, can't tell you how many of my clients are like, I just use a wipe as I'm getting out of the car walking into the house.
No.
No, exactly. I watched one of your videos about that and about the whatever it was the machine that pulled the
Oh my God, the ultrasound. Oh yes,
yes,
no.
like oh god, yeah, that's exactly why I'm like this is not enough. Wipes are awesome, but they're not enough.
Yep.
So, I mean, a couple different things. So I definitely have some clients who are like, I will never use an oil to cleanse my face. Okay, I'm gonna insist that you do it once or twice just so I can see your reaction to it when you use it and you it, which is like the same thing as when I'm like, let's use a lash curler and be like, I'm scared of those things. They don't work anyway, and then I use them and they're like, oh wow. So it's all about getting people over a hurdle. So I am a huge fan of cleansing oils, especially if you wear foundation. There's so little that will take off that heavy layer, that mask, however sheer you use, whether it's sunscreen or foundation, concealer, whatever you're putting on, or the unicorn highlight like that. I see young women in the morning looking like they definitely have already showered and not put new makeup on, but I still see the highlight stuck to their face. So I think that there's a lot of benefit to using a cleansing oil and something, even something that has a little bit more pull, a little bit more of a gel
Yeah.
consistency.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of times, if people are not so down with just a cleansing oil, I'll recommend that they use a cleansing oil and then a face wash after
Right.
they use. They want a little bit more, not, but a little bit more of that than
Yes.
feel like I've just put oil on my face. And are we sure everything's off? So it's so important. I will look into the lens. It is so important to take your makeup off at night. I can't tell you how many people don't. And then I see all sorts of bacteria begin to form acne, and there's no reason for that. One of the things that I really like to do also is to use a cleansing oil. Whatever's on the face, I will put on the eye to
Yeah.
take off whatever's stuck in there, that whatever grime, because you go to bed with your mascara one too many nights and you wake up with an infected hair follicle, and lose that lash, and every lash counts.
That's a great point. Um, and the whole thing is great, and it's bringing, so I just, when I was in LA recently, and unfortunately didn't get to see you, but Nerida Joy, who's one of my favorite estheticians down there, we did a Q&A which will be posted by the time this goes up, but she said, and it's to your point of what you just said, that she considers 50% of your regimen the cleansing part, because it is make or break. If you create that surface dryness and surface dehydration, it doesn't
Right,
matter what you put on afterwards.
right.
it might give you a superficial feeling, but if you're using treatment products, they're not going to penetrate in. If it's not going to work. And so you do have to cleanse properly. And then it was making me laugh because as a ballet dancer, even though I've always been into beauty, the skincare part, because I never had problematic skin growing up, was always sort of on the back burner, totally lucky, but was always on the back burner for me. So when I started dancing professionally, and I just did this in an interview with Caroline Hirons, and she looked at me like I was crazy, which I was, but I had an epiphany about it. But I used to use the hand soap at the sink to wash my face.
The pink stuff?
Yes.
Like,
Oh no, like the real deal in
really?
a theater dressing room,
Wow.
antibacterial hand soap, like not knowing any better. And that's why like my cleanser is truly, I've now gone and say it's not even inspired by it's my actual life story. My friend, Sarah, hi Sarah, she gave me a cleansing oil and was like, no, 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 use this. I was like, that seems dumb. And used it and changed my life forever. And then came out with my own version.
Yeah, look at your beautiful skin.
Thank you. But to that point, though, and again, to another point you were saying, like tonight, I will be using an oil-based cleanser because all of this that's on me is not makeup, but that sheen is SPF. And it does create that, it really is a like attracting like
Yeah.
thing, which has obviously been proven to work, but you need to melt
Right.
down makeup SPF.
Yeah.
You have to. Surfactants can lift it up, like yes, it can, and there are great ones out there,
Right.
but I do think, like you said, if people are weird about the oil cleansing, follow it up with a facial cleanser. Simple as that. And you get both the best of both worlds. You have a really nice double cleanse. You won't be dehydrating your skin. Your skin will be ready to accept whatever. I loved it. I love it. And there was something else you said too. You're bringing up such great points. What was it? It was about, we discussed the surface dryness. We discussed the oil cleansing. You have to take your makeup off. You have to take your makeup off. So back to what Narita said, 50% of your regimen is
Right.
the cleansing step, but it also is right. If you are not taking your makeup off, if you're getting by with it now, don't expect that that's going to keep happening in the future. You're just lucky right now.
Absolutely. I can't tell you how many times I met in the morning with a, Katey, I did something bad and now I have this. Yo, you didn't take your eye makeup off. Especially nowadays, I typically use products from the world of green beauty, but often I don't. Often I use things that are indelible. Green beauty doesn't have that kind
Right.
of, that's, like the backs of my hands. I've already scrubbed. I have not used an oil on it. Earlier today, I painted blue lines on a client's eyes, really intense blue lines with something that simply won't come off, so I don't have to worry when she's doing a music video that's going to run or anything.
Right.
But that's the stuff that has ingredients that I don't know how our bodies process, but you're living with that on you. You're allowing that to just live on your skin, and that's not okay.
Great point. Excellent point. Excellent point. And no, and again, it then goes into a vicious cycle. If you're not going to remove your makeup, your skin's not going to be great, which means your makeup's not going to be great. And then we just start the process over.
Yeah, that's, I think, like your friend the esthetician was saying, like that's a huge, cleansing your skin at night is a huge portion. For me, it's like, it's everything. If you're not taking care of your skin, my makeup's going to look like crap. So I need to be there to help you figure out how to get your skincare regimen in check.
Love it. Yeah, love it. Okay, so now are there any, and this might be a silly question, so please excuse me, but are there any like trends you're seeing that you're enjoying and liking and want to bring more to the forefront and sort of a mainstay in makeup?
Good question. So, I've always kind of thought about trends as like, whatever. Like, I'm not a trend follower.
Right.
I'll be a trend forecaster. I'll set a trend. But no, you know what? We're in a really cool time right now because I feel as though everything is in. I mean, you can be the girl who is naked faced, and that's cool.
Right.
You can be the guy who's painting a highlight on your cheek and, drawing a heart rate up here. There's no, and it's very artistic freedom, a very artistic freedom period that we're in when it comes to makeup. That being said, and I do think that that's a bit of a pendulum swing away from the heavy, cakey, dare I say, I mean, it's not even like taboo to say, it's like the Kardashianizing of our society as far as makeup goes. I just read a great article about that. Like, it's amazing what they have created and their makeup artists have created. But I think I can't tell you how many young women have reached out to me and said, my skin is so bad. I've been wearing makeup the kind that Instagram has told me I should wear and all the ads have told me I should wear for the past, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years. And my skin, I can't let my boyfriend or even my mom see me without makeup on or they
Yeah.
will freak. So it's, that whole covering up. And then there's, like you said, it leads to having to cover up more and cover up more. So I should say my hope, not necessarily that I know it's a trend that's coming, but my hope is that we're inching closer to less about covering up the skin and more about just artistic freedom and self-expression.
Yes, yes.
Like, don't get me wrong, I love looking back at, like, Boy George, creative, crazy, amazing
Yes.
stuff. That was my first makeup book, Culture Club.
I love.
But oh, amazing. But like, I feel as though it has become, or it had been for the past number of years, less about self-expression with makeup and more about conformity and the need to fit into this ding 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 mold. And that, I think, is changing. I think that there are a lot of cool people now that have the attention of the masses. It's not just a small realm of people that have it. I think we're seeing a lot more of the outliers in that sense getting attention, and that has been really refreshing and inspiring. And, like, sometimes I go into a deep dive on Instagram and look at people who are just posting pictures of themselves in their bedroom doing amazing, weird, wild things to their faces, or even just very simple, a little thin gold line when the light hits it perfectly. Wow, your makeup is awesome.
Exactly.
So I do think that we're headed towards there, and so many of the green beauty brands, I have to give them major props, because green beauty brands from day one, like RMS, Living Luminizer, from her launch of that
I'm
to
so
where
glad you said yes, because when you talked about the guy with the highlighter, I was like, it is me and his RMS Living Luminizer.
awesome. I
Yes.
went to the launch of that line, and I'll never forget. In New York City, it was in a rooftop bar or rooftop event space, and I went in there and I looked around at all of these faces with, like, gleaming highlights. And Rosemary Swift, the woman who created it, motioned to me. I came over and she put it on my cheeks. And I was, like, looking at myself in every reflection, and everyone was. And this was before the huge. Now it's like the unicorn highlight and this highlight, and now that glowy dewiness that was a result of coconut oil and some finely micronized shimmer particles is everywhere.
Everywhere.
The brand has created their own version, and there are a lot of really cool versions. Juice Beauty did one that because I was like, but it's the coconut oil stays a little moist and tacky, and for people who are more
Right.
oily and sweaty, especially in tropical climates, we need something else. And Juice Beauty created these awesome juice boosts that when they dry down
Oh,
completely.
really?
Yeah. So there's a lot of
Love it.
innovation, and I feel like that inspires me and leads to a lot more creativity with the young people.
Also, too, I want to give a shout out, and I don't take this away from the skincare community, certainly, but green beauty makeup, to me, those people that are truly, like, devoting their time and energy, going beyond the simplicity of just a mineral makeup brand and putting it in better bases and giving a better quality of coverage, is very innovative and very hard.
It
You
is
know,
so.
it's taking time and money and energy. It's not just they're putting this together and throwing it out there. It's something that is um, not easy. And
You're
it's,
so right. Thank you for saying that. It's
yeah.
so true. I applaud so deeply, from my heart. I applaud all of the brands that have made it. I remember when I first started looking for what was out there, and it was slim pickings, and it's been a long journey of brands. It's fun. One thing that I want to make sure to say is, like, if you've tried a green beauty brand and the texture wasn't to your liking or the payoff wasn't so intense, try it again, because everyone's constantly reformulating.
Yeah.
And that, like, I was talking with the creator of a skincare line the other day about, like, I was like, everyone asks, when am I going to create my own makeup line? And I'm going to do that when I find the right formulators, chemists, PhDs who are working to develop ingredients that we don't know yet. It's not just about, and I always say, like, it doesn't have to be all natural and organic. It's just be non-toxic.
Right.
And
Right.
so we need new ingredients to be created. And I know that will happen. As people always said, You know, I'm sure waterproof mascara wasn't possible. People never thought that waterproof would be a thing until it was.
Of course, exactly.
Yeah, somebody had to develop that. So I'm sure that these ingredients will come along, and then I will do a makeup line. But until then, I feel like kudos to those of you who have created what you've created, because there's so much good stuff in clean beauty
I
now.
agree. I agree. And again, to your point, try it again because people are constantly reformulating. I'm even looking at reformulating one or two of my products just because, like,
Pause.
there's already more out there. There's already, you know, different things. Like, you can make it better, and I would rather have something better instead of a redundant product. So A,
Right.
they're reformulating, and B, there's other brands coming out, sort of like you even said with the Juice Beauty thing. Similar concept, but for a different, you know, skin type or a different concern or a different. So exactly. So Katey, thank you so much. All of those tips and tricks and information. Not only did I learn something, I know everybody out there learned something, but I love it because, like you said in the beginning, it's much easier than people think. Um, and it's the same thing with skincare. It's much, I think people not purposely complicate stuff, but I think they think it needs to be harder than it is. I think they see people with flawless complexions and think there's been all this work put into it and there's been all this stuff put in, and when it really hasn't.
It's often the opposite.
Yes.
Less, it can be a lot more.
Yep. I like to say less but better, which I always
Yeah.
go back to. What was that book? Anyway, a book about that, but it was excellent. Yes. But thank you, thank you, thank you so much. And I appreciate your time, and I will talk to you soon.
Yes, please do.
Thanks, Katey. Bye.
Bye.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for watching. You can subscribe by clicking the black JS circle down below so we can stay in contact and keep talking. To watch more videos, you can click on the link here, or possibly here. Thanks for watching. Bye.